Have you ever felt that someone is against everything you say or do, just for the pleasure of attacking you? There is a story about a firefly being chased by a snake, determined to devour it. The firefly flew frantically trying to escape until it found itself cornered, about to be caught. It asked the snake to answer 3 questions. The snake, knowing that the firefly was trapped with no way out, agreed. The firefly asked if it was part of the snake's usual diet, to which the snake replied no. Then it asked if it had done anything wrong to the snake, and again the snake said no. Finally, the firefly wanted to know why the snake wanted to catch it. The snake replied, "Because I can't stand to see you shine." No matter what you do in life, how good you are, or how much you care about not harming others, understand that there will always be people against you. We have all encountered someone like this, whether it's an abusive colleague, friends at university, or even within our own family. By adopting the practical philosophy of Stoicism, you learn to deal with these people who envy the shine of others without resorting to conflict or argument, but with intelligence and wisdom. Stoicism is considered one of the most practical and profound schools of thought, teaching us to focus our energy and strength on things we can control, while learning to accept those that are beyond our reach. If you do not learn to stand up for yourself in life, you will end up being trampled by others, including those who do not like you. Being stoic does not mean being passive or silently harboring resentment, but having a firm stance and control over what you feel, thinking before acting. Get ready, because in this video, we will reveal 13 ways to destroy your enemy without fighting. Before we begin, if you find value in these videos, please like, subscribe, and click the bell to stay updated. Now let's start this transformative journey together. Are you ready? Number 1. Intentionally ignore. There is no show without an audience, and being ignored can be one of the worst feelings, so use it to your advantage. If possible, start intentionally ignoring those who declare themselves your enemies or do not like you. This strategy, although simple, requires a lot of self-control because you consciously choose not to pay attention to provocations, malicious jokes, actions, or even the presence of the person. Understand that the power of some people lies precisely in causing us emotional distress. Some feel satisfaction in provoking, and when you start ignoring them, you automatically neutralize that power, sending a clear message that they have no influence over you, your emotions, or decisions. Thus, their attempts to affect you are just that, attempts. Be a person committed to your moral development and do not engage in the fight. When you start ignoring, your mind is freed to focus on what really matters. Create mental and emotional space to appreciate each moment of your life, work on your goals, and truly concentrate on what you can control. Instead of having your energy absorbed by negative distractions or consumed for hours thinking about the responses you could have given, how you could morally degrade that person, you start using that space and time on what really matters to you. The strength of those who provoke or try to harm you lies precisely in the degree of influence and importance they have in your life, and only you can decide to what extent each one occupies. You can decide not to feel harmed, and instead of yielding to provocations, choose wisdom and non-participation. This decision also protects us from the harmful effects of resentment and anger, and allows us to cultivate resilience and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. This does not mean denying or pretending that conflicts do not exist, but rather that you have chosen not to get caught up in an unpleasant situation that someone else created. By following this path, we become architects of our happiness and guardians of our inner peace. Number 2, solving problems without fighting is being smarter than the other person. This means using your reasoning, creativity, and ability to devise plans to understand the problem and find a solution without the need for verbal confrontation or direct conflict. By acting this way, you employ the Stoic virtue of wisdom and manage to avoid problems before they occur. India's struggle to gain independence from the United Kingdom is a clear example of how it is possible to win using intelligent strategies without physical violence. Led by Mahatma Gandhi, the Indians chose to protest peacefully and not resort to violence. Gandhi organized peaceful marches, strikes, and encouraged people not to buy British products like salt, challenging the rules that only allowed buying salt from the British. These actions attracted worldwide attention, weakened British control over the Indian economy, and increased political pressure for them to leave India. Finally, in 1947, India gained its independence, and Gandhi showed the world the power of nonviolent resistance, using peaceful strategies to achieve political and social goals. Similarly, we can act intelligently in our conflicts and avoid unnecessary risks. Gandhi managed to lead India's independence because he had a macro vision of the entire situation. He thought about the situation as a whole, the weaknesses of England, what actions could pressure them to leave, how they could do it peacefully, and how they could use their weaknesses as strengths. Using your head means learning to think, looking at the whole context in a macro way. If Gandhi had fought physically, he would have highlighted the lack of physical and military preparation, and thousands would have died. But he turned his people's weaknesses into strengths and used intelligence to win. Winning with intelligence is not just about skill, but also about understanding what motivates each person to act as they do. Thinking about the consequences of what you do shows that you dominate the situation, and by doing this, you present yourself as a true leader. Number 3, turn your adversaries into teachers. One of the concepts of Stoic philosophy is to turn adversity into a path. Instead of facing your adversaries or enemies only with hostility, start seeing them as opportunities to grow and truly learn, as teachers in the journey of life, because they test our limits, expose our weaknesses, reveal our vices, and clearly show us where we need to improve. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, who was the most powerful man in the world as the Roman emperor, the best revenge is not to be like the one who did the harm. Instead of reacting with anger, use these challenges to strengthen your resilience, wisdom, and virtues. When you face rudeness and respond rudely, you also become rude. If you are disrespected and respond with kindness, you also become someone who lacks respect for others. Train your patience, tolerance, and above all, your calm. In this way, the obstacle becomes the path. Furthermore, Marcus Aurelius also advises us that when we feel the temptation to criticize someone, we should stop and reflect first on our own flaws and ask ourselves, what flaw do I have that is most similar to the one I am about to criticize? Sometimes we demand from others what we cannot do ourselves. Thinking this way provides humility and empathy, and also helps us understand and appreciate the lessons that our adversaries can teach us. Instead of harboring negative feelings or seeking revenge against your enemies, be grateful for the opportunities for growth that you would not otherwise have. Change the way you see these people. Instead of threats, see them as opportunities for personal growth and self-discovery, as reminders of the challenges we face and overcome. What would Hercules be without all the monsters, battles, and challenges? He would simply be an ordinary man, forgotten forever. It was precisely his enemies who made him a great legend. When you do this, you completely change the dynamics of your relationship with these people. They may still not like you, but you have stopped worrying about it and have stopped wasting your time and energy on them. Number 4, recognize that your enemy is not the cause of your suffering. The true reason for your suffering does not come from who you consider your adversary or enemy, but from how you judge and perceive each situation that occurs in your life. It is not the actions of that person that make you angry or hurt, but how you see and react to them that determines how you actually feel. That person, whoever they may be, helps you see what is happening inside you. They show you where you are thinking wrongly or reacting emotionally unnecessarily. Your enemy gives you the opportunity to see where you are putting too many expectations or clinging to things you shouldn't. The Stoic masters, who went from being slaves to being admired Stoic teachers, taught something simple but powerful. It is not the things that happen around us that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them. They challenge the idea that external events have the power to disturb our inner peace. Instead, it is how we interpret these events that shapes our emotional response. For Epictetus, even when something bad happens, what really matters is how we face it. This helps us recognize that our perceptions and interpretations play a fundamental role in our emotional states. Stoic philosophers believe that we have the power to choose how to react to things, and that choice can make all the difference. When you realize that what bothers you is not the person or the situation itself, but what you think about it, you can change how you react and develop more emotional strength without being affected by provocations. Furthermore, this requires a deep shift in perspective, moving away from blaming the external world to taking responsibility for your interpretations and emotional responses. Instead of blaming others or harboring resentment, you can start questioning yourself. Why did this offend me so much? Why did what someone said make me so angry or irritated? Why did that person's actions hurt me this way? Think of your enemy as a mirror that reflects parts of yourself that may need attention. Examine how you feel and why you felt that way. Changing the way you see these people helps you change how you deal with them and also helps you understand yourself better. This wisdom brings a new perspective to the situation. You start thinking differently when you recognize that your judgment is the key to your emotional state. Observe the importance of understanding this. Your judgment is the key to your emotional state. Instead of reacting automatically, you can cultivate a more balanced mind and have the ability to respond rationally and consciously. Moreover, this paradigm shift will bring more lightness and joy to your life. It can help you grow and improve as a person because you know that your strength and courage do not reside in another person, and you stop being controlled by the actions, moods, or consideration of others, unlocking immense potential for personal growth. Number 5, choose to be great by forgiving. Forgiving is an act of greatness. It is exchanging resentments and desires for revenge for finding peace within yourself. Forgiving someone does not mean that you have to walk alongside the person who hurt you or invite them to stay at your house. It means choosing to free yourself from all anger, pain, or resentment. Forgiveness is not about who hurt you. It is about not locking negative feelings inside your chest. This is not a sign of weakness, but rather of strength and nobility. By forgiving, you show that you control your emotions and create your own destiny. It is an elevation of consciousness that involves accepting the reality of what happened, regardless of whether you understand the reasons behind it. When you forgive, you break a cycle of resentment and restore balance in your emotional and mental life. When we let pride dominate us, we close ourselves off to the world and create barriers that hinder any kind of reconciliation. Forgiving is reacting to evil with kindness. The Stoic philosopher Seneca summarized the meaning of forgiveness quite profoundly. It is superior to revenge because it demonstrates kindness, while revenge reflects a savage nature. This wisdom highlights how forgiveness can transform lives, as it is grounded in compassion and the understanding of an enlightened spirit. When we think of revenge, we are simply reacting, letting others control our actions and, in a way, remaining as victims. But by forgiving, you free yourself and regain power over yourself. Number 6, transform the relationship with your enemies. This means acting with kindness, understanding, and benevolence to provoke a positive change both in the environment and in the behavior of people. This new way of facing problems encourages us to promote kindness even towards those who try to harm us. It is not easy to demonstrate this greatness and act in this way, so let me share this story with you. There was a very rich man who decided to give a poor man something for his birthday. Ironically, he prepared a tray full of trash and dirt. But to truly humiliate that man, the rich man presented the gift in the presence of all his friends and subordinates. The birthday man, in his naivety, received the gift with great joy and thanked the man kindly, asking him to wait a few minutes as he wanted to return the gesture. So, the poor man discarded all the trash, washed and disinfected the tray, filled it with beautiful flowers, and returned it to the rich man with a card that said, "We give what we have." The best part of this story shows that we cannot expect people to give what they do not have. Each of us carries a baggage of feelings and attitudes. Some can only offer a tray full of trash, while others choose flowers. Choosing love instead of anger not only benefits the other person, but also helps us grow, expanding our vision and moral strength. In the story, the rich man tried to spread hatred and negativity, but his actions did not shake the poor man, who responded with love and kindness. Similarly, we too can transcend our primal instincts and choose to act with love and kindness. By doing so, you rise above petty arguments and disputes and show that you are not just part of the problem, but also an essential part of the solution. Number 7. Face it directly. The seventh strategy we can use to solve problems without fighting is to confront the problem directly. I like a quote from Dr. Matt Murdock that says, "An enemy not confronted tends to strengthen." Confronting someone means having a direct and objective conversation. You can start by saying, "I have noticed that you have been doing this and that, and I don't think it's right. I haven't done anything to deserve it, and I want you to stop referring to me in this way." That is confronting. It is not about physical violence, but about showing that you are aware and do not tolerate certain behaviors. Of course, each situation is unique. If it is your boss, for example, the approach should be different. Confronting is not synonymous with fighting, but rather asserting yourself. If you do not show firmness, others may step on you. This does not mean that you need to look for fights. When you show that you will not accept everything in silence, most of the time the person understands the message and the situation does not escalate into a fight. If you accept once, people will do it 2, 3 times, and so on. That is why it is important to be ready to assert yourself when necessary. Number 8. Focus on yourself. When we cling to thoughts of revenge or continuously review past grievances, we inadvertently divert our attention from what really matters, our own growth and well-being. Consider this: every moment we spend obsessing over past wounds or imagining alternative outcomes is a wasted moment. A moment that could have been invested in self-improvement. Sometimes we cling to the hope that those who have hurt us will finally regret their actions and apologize, but in reality, this hope often comes from a desire for external validation, a longing to be recognized by those who have hurt us. However, true value and validation must originate from within. No external validation can replace the self-recognition and self-worth that we cultivate within ourselves. Prioritizing personal growth means taking responsibility for our own fulfillment. Moreover, it is essential to free yourself from the grip of concern for others' opinions and approval, especially from those who harbor ill will towards us. Stoic philosophy teaches us that we possess the power to choose our reactions to any given situation, empowering us to make deliberate decisions aligned with our values. By embracing these teachings, we embark on a profound journey of self-discovery. Along this path, we confront ignorance, embrace forgiveness, and nurture love, dismantling the barriers that hinder our pursuit of virtue, wisdom, and ultimately, happiness. Number 9. Nurture your personal growth. Instead of focusing on defeating your enemy, direct your energy towards your own growth and development. For example, you could commit to practicing activities that help you grow emotionally, such as daily self-reflection, writing in a gratitude journal, or regularly practicing mindfulness. By investing in yourself, you follow the advice of Marcus Aurelius, who wrote in his Meditations, "True power lies in living in accordance with the nature of our own being, which is rational." By focusing on your personal growth, you shift the focus from negativity to a positive and constructive mindset. This approach not only strengthens you internally, but also allows you to face your enemies with greater confidence and serenity. Remember that the path of self-discovery is a continuous journey, full of opportunities to learn and grow. Keep an open and receptive mind to new experiences and knowledge that help you reach your maximum potential. Number 10. Practice self-compassion as a tool for inner strength. Instead of letting self-judgment or self-criticism consume you, cultivate compassion towards yourself. Recognize that everyone makes mistakes and faces challenges in life. By practicing self-compassion, you give yourself the support and kindness you need to overcome difficulties. Following the teaching of Epictetus, who wrote, "Do not be angry because things happen according to the nature of things. Learn to accept your imperfections and treat yourself kindly in times of difficulty." By doing so, you build a solid foundation of self-esteem and resilience that allows you to face your enemies with serenity and determination. Remember that practicing self-compassion is not a sign of weakness, but an act of courage that allows you to maintain your integrity and emotional well-being in any situation. Number 11, build a solid support network. Building a solid support network aligns with the principles of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that emphasizes the importance of internal control and virtue in everyday life. According to the Stoics, it is essential to surround yourself with people who promote wisdom and virtue, as this contributes to our own growth and emotional well-being. By having a solid support network, we follow the Stoic advice to focus on what we can control, our relationships and our attitude towards them. Additionally, our relationships with others can be a source of strength during difficult times, which is a recurring theme in Stoic teachings about resilience and virtue. The people in your support network can offer different perspectives and advice, which aligns with the Stoic teaching of considering multiple viewpoints and seeking wisdom in others' opinions. This allows you to maintain a balanced perspective in the midst of conflict, which is a central principle of Stoicism that promotes serenity and mental clarity. Your support network acts as a shield against your enemy's attempts to emotionally harm you, reflecting the Stoic emphasis on the importance of maintaining inner tranquility and peace of mind in the face of adversity. Therefore, building a solid support network is not only consistent with the principles of Stoicism, but it can also strengthen you emotionally and help you face your enemy without falling into negativity or despair. By surrounding yourself with people who provide you with love, support, and understanding, you follow the Stoic principles of cultivating meaningful relationships based on virtue and wisdom. Number 12, practice gratitude and forgiveness. This strategy involves cultivating a sense of gratitude for the lessons your enemy can teach you and for the personal growth opportunities that arise from conflict. Recognize that even difficult experiences can have a positive value if you use them as opportunities to learn and grow. Additionally, practice forgiveness not only towards your enemy, but also towards yourself for any resentment or bitterness you may feel. By freeing yourself from the burden of resentment and anger, you can open up space for inner peace and emotional growth. This strategy aligns with the principles of Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers who emphasize the transformative power of forgiveness and gratitude. Number 13, the control is yours. You are the only one who has control over your emotions. When someone manages to affect you, it is because you allowed it to happen. No one has the power to destroy your peace, disturb your sleep, ruin your day, or diminish your smile. No one can harm you unless you allow it because the control of your emotions is in your hands. It is difficult to have to coexist with someone who wants to harm us for no reason, but understand that these people, like the snake at the beginning of the video, cannot stand to see someone shine with their own light. What really shows who you are is what you feel and how you react to it. So, it doesn't matter if you have many enemies. What really matters is how many people you don't consider enemies and towards whom you don't feel anger. What is important is not what others think of you, but what you think of yourself. It doesn't matter how many try to harm you. What counts is that you do not try to harm anyone. If your life is not going well, it is not the fault of others, but yourself. What complicates your life is not how much you dislike others, but if you hold grudges against them. It doesn't matter the ill wishes of others, but how you feel and act towards them. You have the power to change things in your life, including how much your enemies affect you. As Marcus Aurelius advises in Meditations, choose not to be harmed and you will not feel harmed. Do not feel harmed and you will not have been. If you have made it this far, write in the comments, "No one can defeat me." That way, I will know who the victors are who made it to the end of the video. I am eager to hear your stories of triumph, so subscribe, activate notifications, and like the video. I hope to continue creating more content like this in the future. Now, I recommend watching these 2 videos here so you can keep learning about Stoicism and human psychology and advance in your personal development. A big hug.